Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today, we're going to be hanging out with the Scottish legend guitarist,
Hugh Caldwell.
Oh, God,
And first, we're going to kick off with a song he is featured on by Wolfestone Studio. This is called Horizon, featuring Hugh Caldwell.
Early in the morning, and you're feeling down. It's still a little cold outside, and there's no one around. Have you ever wondered what the day will bring as the sun comes up with a brand new scene? Lift your head up, open your eyes. What do you see? What do you see? Sky is clear, the sun shines down. What do you see? What do you see? There's no better place. Look above and you face at the horizon. The nights are long, but the darkness has passed. The ray of light is growing real fast.
and the crowd goes wild. Settle, relax. It's all good. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. My name's Jade. This is How to App on iOS. It's Friday here in Australia, end of the week. For me, I get a day off tomorrow. Not really, because I've got another channel that I have to work on. What a great song. So, Wolfestone Studio, and it seems... So we all love Wolfestone Studio, amazing artists, Ron and Jenny, and it seems like Hugh is slowly but surely becoming a full-time member of that band. I think it should be a done deal. He should be always in the band because he adds some magic to each song, and every time he's on a track that I get to master, I just love it. I hope you're all doing well. There's 29 sexy bodies here in the chat today. I hope you're all healthy, well, and if not, I hope you're on some good meds. That's the best we can ask for, isn't it? I'm doing okay. I'm excited to do this today because I've been wanting to have this particular artist on the show for a while, but, you know, you have somebody on your list and then you shuffle things around and don't know if they want to come on. But here we are finally. So, and this man gets around a fair bit. All you have to do is go and have a look at his YouTube channel. He has played with so many artists from this community: Chris Lane Sr., Mr. Smith, Dom, Torregrossa, Wolfestone Studio. I mean, there's so many. Laurie, how can I forget Laurie's MishMosh? You know, he's everywhere you look. He's like a mold that you can't get rid of. No, what am I talking about? Hugh, I'm going to have to bring you in so you can slap me around and get me to speak some serious stuff for a change. All right, so finally, without further ado, let's bring him on because, you know, you don't want to hear my bobbling head talk shit. I do enough of that every day. I will remind you before we go, I'm Australian, Hugh's Scottish. You may need to have a translator. For those of you in America, you may not understand some of the humor today because it has sarcasm. So just be aware of that, Americans. And let's just bring him on, shall we, and stop being a dick. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the guest of today's show, Hugh Caldwell. Let's do this. Boom. Hi, Hugh.
Hello there. How you doing?
It's not how you make porridge.
No. I put hairs in your chest, though.
God, please no. It took me enough time to get
Hello, Jade.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm great, and welcome to Guitar Slut Studios.
Yeah, is that what you call it?
Well, it is now.
I'm never going to get that image out of my head. you need more hookers behind you to make that a reality.
That's it. Yeah, a pole.
Or do you hire out your guitars as whores? Is that what?
Maybe.
All right, let's now look, as a joke, you keep saying before I interview you, you're like, you know, you're going to need a translator. You're going to need I don't fucking need a translator. I don't know if anybody else in the audience needs a translator, put a 1 in the chat, and we'll make sure our moderators put you in the ban list. How's that? Do you often come against that, being a Scottish person?
Yeah. It's just par for the course. But
and what do you normally tell people when they say, I can't understand you?
Well, open your ears, or it's your fault.
You're a lot more patient than me. I'd tell people just to fuck off. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that.
Well, we do have the swear jar open, so if you'd like to super chat or super sticker to compensate just in case we swear too much and the show gets demonetized, feel free to do that. It helps the channel and all that jazz. Hugh, I want to ask you this question because I'm very interested to know a lot of your background, because I think you're a stellar guitarist. Everything you touch turns to gold. It just is what it is, and you seem to play with such relative ease. And you're a bit like Laurie. You seem to produce a lot. How do you find the time to produce so much music with people?
I just love it, really. And I think because I'm self-taught as a guitar player, I come up with more ideas quicker. because there's no set rules. So I just find it easier to especially if somebody says to me, "Can you play some acoustic guitar on this track?" I won't have a conceived idea of what should be on it. So I'll just think of what's my style. Can I add to that? And then I'll go from there, you know?
Yeah, you seem very much like a Cold Acre. Like I've known Cold Acre a long time. He's really able to add stuff to music really easily and quickly and his own style, and but it adds to the particular style. What does music mean to you, Hugh?
Oh, I won't say the obvious word, everything, but it pretty much is everything. But yeah, it's my life. I work so I can play music and record music, and you know, there's always music on at work. There's music on when I get home. Wake up to music. If I'm in the house, if I'm not eating, I'm playing guitar or sleeping. You know, that kind of thing.
Has it
music, everything.
Has it helped you in positions of like times of trouble? Has there been a particular time in your life where music has really got you through something that you didn't think you could get through yourself?
The recent pandemic, yeah. I was, because I've got asthma, every time I would go out, this is even halfway through the pandemic, I thought the latest, even a sniff of a cold, before we knew all the other stuff, I was always worried that if I go into hospital and I catch the big C, that I'm a goner. So that was on my mind almost daily. So playing music at night always helped with managing through that, you know.
It was such a bizarre situation because I know there's a lot. We talked about this briefly before the show started. There's a lot of us here in these little music communities on YouTube. We're all pretty sick. Either we're sick in the head, or like we've got mental problems. A lot of us have that stuff, or we've got health problems, chronic health problems. It seems to be a thing. And for me, watching the pandemic happen, I've said this on the show many times, I feel like it was a reset. And for me, I was literally scared shitless to leave the house, because if I got that thing, it would have been coitins for me. And seeing so many people going, it's all fake, and like, whew, I was like, dude, it's not in my world. Like, I'm not taking the risk, you know. Did you eventually? Did you get it in the end?
No.
Wow.
No. What exactly? One thing I will say though, just before that period, I kind of lost touch with almost all of my close friends for various reasons, and that was getting me down, because I was coming in from work, the same routine every day. I had my music, but I wasn't able to socialise or anything like that. So
yeah,
when we all kind of started our communities on YouTube, it was like finding a lot of new friends again. And as I say, although as bad as the 2 years were, they were brilliant for me at the same time, because I had the time of my life meeting everybody and getting into making music again online and stuff. So it was a bonus.
It's really interesting looking at people's YouTube channels and looking at how long they've been around for, and then all of a sudden in 2020, there's this huge spike in everybody's channel of just music out of nowhere. You know?
I thought we'd say boom.
Yeah, we've got to do
boom, boom.
It was an explosion of music, and it's funny, you know. I still feel weird saying it, but it is what it is. For all of the misery and being locked down, and I know it was frustrating, and people lost money and all that. For us in this community, look what we got out of it. It's like we got this seed thrown into this huge pile of horse manure that just flourished, and here we all are. And for me, doing this every Friday, there's never a shortage of people to have on because there's just so many amazing people that have come out of this.
And now I see it as a bright light at the end of a really bad dark tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those people who don't have music, I don't know what they did. Maybe that's why the rest of the world was a fucking pile of miserable shit while we were all just going, yeah, we got Laurie's MishMosh leading the way. We can all just do covers with her.
That's it.
Somebody wrote in the chat, do you ever sleep, Hugh?
Occasionally. Not a lot. I mean, my friends call me Nosferatu.
All right, because you're a vampire.
Exactly. I've had problems with insomnia since I was a teenager. I've had people trying to help me with it, and I try all the different things like sleeping to like rain music and stuff like that, but it doesn't quite work with me.
Have you tried white noise?
I can still function.
Have you tried white noise or pink noise? That stuff works.
No, I've not tried that.
You should try it. It actually does really good. And if you brown noise works really cool too. And if you aim the speaker at your next door neighbor, it's really good. Hopefully, it makes them shit their pants while they're sleeping.
Right.
Well, I hope it works like that anyway. So because my neighbor's an asshole.
I'll tell you what. One thing is, they say that you should go to sleep in a completely black room. But for various reasons, I can't sleep in complete darkness.
Yeah.
And complete quietness. So that obviously doesn't help, you know.
Yeah, well, I used to sleep in this room in my studio for pretty much the majority of the time I've run this show. My bed was in here, and it's only been the last 2 months I moved my bed into another room. Oh, fuck, it changed. I'm actually getting more sleep, but that's probably the new pills that I'm on. It's definitely the new pills. They're knocking me out within 10 minutes, so that's good. Thanks, medicine, for helping out with that. Hippie was up last night doing his radio show, and I'm sure it was like 6 a.m, Jeff, and you were still sitting there doing your radio. I thought the radio show was a chance for Jeff to put the show on, go to sleep, and get some rest, but no, there he was. Still there at 6 a.m. I don't know how he does it. I'm going to ask you, do you recall the music that was played in your house when you were growing up by your parents? And who are some of the artists and how have they influenced you?
Well, okay. Well, I'm the youngest of 5 children.
Okay.
So my mum and dad were, I would say, slightly older parents when I was born. So the music they were liking was like country and western music from back in the 50s and 60s and stuff. So the music that I was listening to was from my older brother and one of my older sisters. And I can remember once going in and picking about 5 or 6 vinyl LPs. We had remember the old vinyl LPs that had the speaker on the front?
Absolutely.
And sitting down with my right ear to the speaker. And I've actually wrote them down because I can remember. The albums I picked out just so happened to be the Rolling Stones' Road Gold, the first Doors album.
Oh, man. Good stuff.
Kansas Leftover Tour. Jimi Hendrix's Axis Bold as Love, which became a big thing for me. And 20 Golden Greats of the Beach Boys. So that was the first albums I was listening to about the age of 10.
What a great introduction to have your family play Jimi Hendrix. I wish I lived in a family that had Jimi Hendrix on the. I had Olivia Newton-John. Hopelessly devoted to you.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, it was all right. You know, it was good to take those album covers back in my bedroom at night time.
Aye.
It's probably a little bit too much information there, but, you know, hey,
Aye.
you do what you do, you know. It is what it is. So,
I've got a few theories on when you start getting into music, how the rest of your path goes about what you listen to and what you like. Because especially, I noticed like in the late 70s, the US and the UK music scenes kind of went apart.
yeah.
Hair metal in the 80s came in the 80s, and sorry, in the US, that totally didn't happen over here.
Yeah.
Whereas we were more post-punk and new wave. So a lot of the rock stuff wasn't coming in my ears. I was listening back the way to like Led Zeppelin and, you know, the stuff that happened here 10 years before. So
Yeah.
that kind of changed for me.
It is really interesting because like I grew up with metal, and a lot of American bands, like especially bands like Metallica, bands like Metallica only existed because of new wave British metal. They stole pretty much all their influences from new wave British metal and applied it. And so in the US, it was like, man, what is this new style of metal? And it's like, motherfuckers, this has been happening over in the UK for fucking ages. You know, you guys had punk. I mean, the Sex Pistols and punk was a really, you know, almost not mainstream, not totally mainstream, but more mainstream than anywhere else.
Yes.
And see, in Australia, we shared a lot of the same musical progressions or popularity as what you did. Like when,
Sure.
you know, we both had to sit through Kylie Minogue together.
And Jason Donovan.
And unfortunately, Craig McLaughlin to some extent.
And Sonia.
Yeah. And the whole, that whole Stock Aitken and Waterman thing. I don't even know if the US dealt with Stock Aitken and Waterman, you know. Well, of course, Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley, but that became a meme, didn't it? You know,
It did, yeah.
And it was interesting watching the British or Europe music scene change, because I think Europe was the real leaders of electronic music during the 80s too. Like,
sure.
It really took off and
big time.
Yeah, and here in Australia we had so many big artists from the UK coming out, like Boy George, and you know all that stuff was huge here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting because in the US there was nothing. It was Stevie Wonder and all this stuff going. We were like in totally different time warps.
Yeah.
Do you recall the first album that was given to you as a gift, and the first one you purchased with your own pocket money, Hugh?
The first album as a gift was given at the same time I was given my first Ghetto Blaster. And it was a cassette tape of Legend by Bob Marley.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Which I love to bits. And the first one I bought was UB40 Live in 1982.
Another sick band. Like, did they do well in the US? UB40?
I don't think so.
I know there's some Americans here
in Europe.
Yeah, they were huge here in Australia too. UB40 was huge here and huge in the UK. I don't know. There's Americans here in the chat. Were UB40 big in the US? All you Americans who are here, let us know. Oh, yeah, well, Conspiracy says they were popular there. It's interesting, like to see which bands actually made it over the pond, because a lot of them didn't. Oh yeah, of course, red wine, of course.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first, like, stadium gig you ever went to, or a big show that you ever went to?
Well, they don't come much bigger than this, I don't think. I used to live in a place called Parkhead in the East End of Glasgow, and the Celtic football ground was literally my back garden,
Oh wow!
literally 50 yards away, right? And the Who came to play there in 1976. I was just turning 6, and I got snuck in over the turnstiles for free by my bigger brother, and the 2 years were about 5 rows back. That night, the Who broke the decibel soundbar record for the UK in loudness. And all I can remember is my ears ringing all night after that. But there's footage. I think there's some a little footage maybe on YouTube. There's definitely the whole audio on YouTube of the concert.
Yeah, right.
And it was after that I became a massive fan of the Who and Pete Townsend and that stuff. That was my first.
I've got to ask, man. That song. There's this one song by Pete Townsend, man. I don't know what it's called. Rough Boys.
Right.
What's going on in that clip? Have you seen that video clip?
Not for a long time, I don't think.
The lyrics are "Rough boys under the sheets. I want to bite and kiss you."
Mm.
And in the video clip, it's him at a pub with some boys playing pool who look like they're about 15. It just looks so sus.
Wow, I don't remember that then.
It looks so sus. And like the lyrics.
It sounds even more sus after the bit of trouble you got into.
Yeah. I'm not gonna play the sound, but man, hang on a minute. Let me find it. Here it is. So they kick off. He's all outside, and there he is playing guitar with all these, and just there's this line where he goes, "Ooh, I want to bite and kiss you." And it's like, dude. I guess it was a different time then, where we didn't look at things like so sus as what we do now.
Yeah.
And thanks to so many artists who turned out to be nonsense, I guess. I don't think he's that way. I don't think he's that way at all anyway. But it's just a dodgy clip. But what a great gig to go to. My first gig was Kiss. It was at a huge arena here called the MCG. And
right.
I was too young to realize how amazing it was. It was Midnight Bandit asks, does sus mean suspense? No, sus means suspicious. Suspicious. Absolutely.
You're talking about Kiss. I love Kiss, but they're another band that pretty much didn't exist in the UK apart from I Was Made for Loving You.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Didn't chart over here at all.
That is really interesting because here they charted big time.
Right, that's unusual.
Like I remember as a kid, we used to have on our TV every morning there'd be cartoons, and in between the cartoons they'd play music video clips, and Kiss was always being played. Shandy every morning. If they didn't play Shandy before I went to school, I'd go to school pissed. Right. I love that song. It's a wicked song. I don't know, Kiss. Nearly everyone who comes on here says we end up talking about Kiss somehow, but once I didn't want them to take their makeup off,
right.
And exactly what happened when they took off their makeup. They just became boring to me. There was nothing exciting anymore,
Well, I love that cheesy first video back. What's it called? I forget the name of the song. It's annoying. I forget the name of it.
I mean, they teased the makeup thing for so long. They did that whole album, Unmasked, where like the front cover was they're going to take their mask off, and they take the mask off, they take their makeup off, and it's actually a mask. And and then they did it, and it was really underwhelming. It was so underwhelming. I was like, Ace Frehley's face looked like it'd been through a mincer, and you know, it was really underwhelming. Let's play a track. We're about 30 minutes in, then we'll come back and say hello to everybody. Let me find a track here. I'm going to, God, I've got Pete Townsend up here now. Ridiculous. I'm going to kick off with, let's do this. Where are you? D major, is it Invitational Jam?
Yes.
Tell us about this before we play it.
Oh, it was one of the couple of guys from YouTube. We used to kind of pick a backing track, and like 3 or 4 of us would have a go playing over it and share it, basically.
Awesome. Let's do it.
This was one of mine. Okay.
Let's do it, guys. We'll bring back over here. I hope you've got a drink, something cool for the next, we've got an hour and a half left, so enjoy some music and more chitter-chatter. We'll say hello to you all after this track, so get ready to type something in the chat so I don't have to scroll. This is a D major Invitational Jam. Let's do it. Boom. I could have listened to that for the rest of the show. I could have just sat here and listened to that forever. That was beautiful. You've got a real
Good.
there's a there's a lot of guitarists who shred and play in these communities, and we get to hear them all the time on Hippie's show. A lot of them don't have heads, amazingly. I don't know why that is.
I just recently grew a head, actually.
It's good to know you've got a head, Hugh. Some of them don't have heads at all. So I don't know. Maybe they're in a tragic car accident and they lost their head. I don't know. It's a thing. But no, and everyone has their own unique style. And I'm not really a person who listens to a lot of solos. I went to an Yngwie Malmsteen guitar clinic once and fucking lasted 10 minutes. Want to get the fuck out of there. The guy was boring as piss and had the personality of a wet tampon. But you've got a very relaxed, and you don't overcomplicate things, and you add parts that make sense to people's music. That's what I really like about your guitar style, and that proved it.
Okay.
Like you give space and you play with absolute passion. Wonderful stuff.
Thank you very much. I think it's important to leave space in music and create tension in places and let things build up and stuff like that, just rather than just throwing everything at it, Yeah. The less saying, if it comes down to, like you say, like shred guitar, like Chris Lane recently helped me with, asked me to play the lead guitar on Gary Moore's Out in the Fields. Now that solo is a bastard to play, right? took me days to learn it. But I felt proud when I did learn it. So if I need to play the style of guitar solos that are not natural, I know I can still do it, basically.
I want to thank, I think I saw a super chat come through from Midnight Bandit and Mr. Smith. So thank you for those. Let's say hello to people who are here. Let me bring up this window so we can do this. Hi, guys. I'm going to try and keep up and catch all of you from previous. So if you want me to call you out, you know the drill. Type something in the chat so I don't have to do too much scrolling. Hi, Feisty Feather, Lou Reality, Conspiracy Media, Metalhead Hippie, Laurie's Mishmosh, Chad Freeman, what's going on? Midnight Bandit, Trimmer Bear, Thomas Christ. Who else do we have? Valerie Butt is here. We have Falcon Blueser. We have Deep Gravity says boo. Kim Hardin Hudson says something. SM Borthwick, hello. Gregory Sullivan says something. We also have Russ8889 who said you're not bad for a Scottish cunt. J.D.L, Forrester the Wolf, Joe and Barry Glenn are here. Frank Terzo, Ed Zielinski, what's going on? Robbie Stingle. We got the whole gang here. There's 47 people here, Hugh.
The cool kids.
Jesus, man, your milkshake brings milkshake brings all the bitches to the yard. Lady Rhodaline's here as well. Who else have I missed? I'm sure I've missed heaps of other people who are here. I saw Viv is here as well. Mix Club, and we've got our Hugh emoji in the chat for those who are Wart Warriors. We can bang in the.
That's the most important thing. Good.
Yeah, I know you've made it, man. You've got an emoji. You've made it. Mr. Smith is here as well. I've missed Mr. Smith. That's a tongue twister. Let's see. Have I got everyone? I think I've got most people. Gortium. There's Gortium. Hello to you. He says, Hugh for the win. Absolutely. Thomas is shilling for me, putting up the Become a Wart Warrior. Kid K Music's just joining now. Good to see you. Gary Hubbs is here as well. Les Nagy's here as well. I'm trying to get you all in today. Man, thank you all for being here. You're all rock stars in your own right. Love you all. Let's talk about playing guitar. So did you, I mean, clearly, you had a good breeding of music being played in the house. So you had a great start of like what's coming in. Was guitar the first thing you gravitated to? And what age did you do it? Was it at school? How did you want to pick it up and play it?
Right. I would say when I was 10, I went on a small break to an island called Millport in the west coast of Scotland.
Right.
And in this, there was a wee guitar shop there. And I picked up I seen this nylon string guitar in the window. And I had some extra cash that my father had given me. So I bought that, and for the 2 weeks on the break, I just made a noise. Then I put it away. I never played anything again until one day my uncle brought over an old acoustic Epiphone guitar, and he said, "Hugh, you can have that." I went, "Okay." So I taught myself a few chords, but what changed my life was I went into a charity shop one day, and I happened to see the big Beatles songbook, the complete Beatles songbook.
Yeah.
And so I went from the easiest songs on the book through to the hardest, and pretty much learned the whole Beatles catalogue.
Holy shit.
Then when I got my first electric guitar, I took off a lot quicker, because by that time I was obsessed with everything guitar. I mean, in the 80s, you had like the things like what was it called? Hot Licks videos, where you got the guitar, the real great guitar players doing videos on tuition on how to play. So you had like hero of mine, Steve Lukather, and all them kind of cats are great players. Greg Howe and Larry Carlton and all that stuff. I didn't have a clue what they were playing theory-wise, but I could watch and I could listen and pick up here and there. So when I went from just playing chords from songs to eventually very basic soloing, that's when I started to progress a lot faster.
A lot of young
create my own style.
A lot of young people today don't realise how hard it was back in our day to,
sure.
Like you mentioned that Beatles book. I had that Beatles book as well. For me, the Metallica Justice for All book, because you had to buy books back in the day. You actually had to go to a guitar shop and buy the book, and it was like, here in Australia, it was like $39, $40 to buy this book just for one fucking album. And you go home and try and learn this shit. And looking back, heaps of it was wrong. There was a lot of stuff in those books that were fucking wrong. And now people just can go to a website for free and just type in a song and get the chords and everything.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We had absolutely zero. All you had was listening to records, slowing the pace of the record down so you could hear what was going on. And that was it. You didn't even have DVDs, or it wasn't to the late 80s. Video was available for like music wise, Even when
VHS came out, there weren't a lot of videos that you could get, and they were expensive and they were fucking terrible.
So you had to put the work in then, basically, because you just had your guitar and your ears. That was it. That was it.
Yeah. I was a busker for many years, and I would go out and sing all these songs, Pearl Jam and stuff, and didn't have the fucking internet. So you would write the lyrics down too, and you write these chords down. And now I go through this book sometimes when I do my live performance. It's normally laying around here. And all the words are fucking wrong. All the chords are fucking wrong. I don't know how people didn't stop me in the street and go, "You're singing the wrong words, dickhead." It's completely different now. I'm always curious about this too as a guitarist. For me, when I got my first guitar, I couldn't play any chords. So what I used to do was run around the backyard with Iron Maiden and Metallica playing really loud out my bedroom window, and I'd run around like I was on stage thinking I was Scott Ian from Anthrax. And I didn't care what I was playing here, but what I was doing with this hand, that didn't look too good. Look, I've just given away which hand I am. No, but I used to just practice shredding and, galloping and stuff. So by the time I actually started learning chords, I was already galloping. Like this hand was down perfectly. Was there was there one or the other? Which one did you get down first? Was it chords or strumming, or was it a combination?
Excuse me. Chords, I would say. I would say even to this day, my right hand is the weaker hand. So I try and work on that a bit more. I'm pretty good at finger picking on guitar and stuff. But when it comes to heavy duty power chords and fast chugging and stuff like that, my timing does need to improve, definitely.
It's hard to be a jack of all trades on a guitar because there's so many different styles of guitar,
Sure.
And we're watching Leela at the moment doing her show, and she's bearing her soul every week, learning to play guitar in front of us all and singing along, which is absolutely brave as fuck. And, I bring this up too for someone like Leela, who's, her thing is she's getting the chords down quick as hell.
Yes.
But her strumming hand, she's got to get down better. But what she's doing is so hard because she's trying to learn to do that strumming hand and sing at the same time. It's an impossible ask. Have you tried singing and playing guitar?
Excuse me. Yes, I can to a certain extent, but I need to improve my singing a lot. I'm not a good singer at all. But I think when you learn to finger pick, that helps a singer-songwriter. Singing and finger picking a guitar at the same time, I think is to me is easier than strumming and singing. Because strumming is totally about repetition.
Yeah.
Whereas your finger picking is more, you've got room to maneuver about a bit, Do
you have any advice for somebody who's wanting to pick up guitar, where they should start? What kind of guitar should they look for to start,
Well, a lot of people tell you complete bullshit and they say start on an acoustic or a nylon.
Yeah.
I say no, start on an electric guitar. They're easier to play. They've got slimmer necks, thinner strings, slinkier action, and that's it basically. They're just a lot easier to learn on.
I agree with that completely. That's what I learnt on. And then by the time I got to an acoustic, it was like, holy hell, this is different. But it was such a revelation to go from an electric to an acoustic. It was definitely easier. I probably would have, I got more calluses from playing an acoustic than an electric.
Sure. Well, I would say as well, though, that I would advise people to play both.
Yep.
And practice acoustic guitar before you play your electric guitar. Because when you switch over, you'll be playing so much easier on the electric guitar because it is easier to play.
Yeah, totally.
You'll find it a lot slinkier.
So over in wee Bonnie, Scotland, did you have music lessons at your school? Or music class?
Well, I lie, actually. I had a little on piano and the cornet.
Cornet?
But I didn't see it through enough. It wasn't floating my boat.
The cornet didn't grab you by the balls.
No.
Oh my god!
Well,
there was.
Well,
It's weird. I just know from my country, from experience, nearly every school in Australia had a music course, and some countries don't do it. They don't push music in their schools. And, Scotland is a place renowned for, like Australia, a lot of drinkies and, pubs and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, would playing music be judged as a bit of a puffy thing? I don't want to use. I use a slur word. Damn, like you know where I'm going. Is it like that? I know here in Australia it's all kind of like macho.
No. No, not really. No, I mean there's really big music schools in Scotland, and there's like. Even like opera stuff and singing schools and all that. There's Scotland's very, very big on music, so and even though although the local life scene a lot of places is kind of diminished when I visit other places, and I find Scotland, especially Glasgow, is still very strong musically.
Yeah, here in Australia, we've suffered. Like a lot of our venues don't book live music anymore because it's all poker machines, or for the American slot machines. They've just dominated, and it's really sad. And the way they killed out music too was they used to have live bands, and then slowly it became a single guy with a Casio keyboard and doing covers, and then they got rid of that guy as well too. So I would love to see a gig. Jamie Melander says Glasgow gigs rule. Yeah,
some of the best concert venues ever here. The Glasgow Apollo used to be here, and the Barrowlands, and the Scottish Exhibition Centre, the Hydro. So many good ones. Hampden Park.
I'm going to play a track.
Loads.
Because it's about 8:56 here. Let's play another song. I'm going to choose Eye of Horus.
Do
you want to tell us a little bit about the Eye of Horus? And thank you, Conspiracy, for the pair emoji chat thingy.
Well, this is a big one for me because for a while, even as late as just before Christmas last year, my recording skills were lacking a lot. And then I discovered a few new tools here and there that just bumped them up a few notches. So when I got to do this track, I always wanted to, what do you call it? Put a spotlight on tremolo bar use. And on this song, I'm probably using it on 80% of the notes in this song. Either bending notes, sustaining notes, or like tremolo and whatever. So it's a big instrumental for me.
Yeah, I love this track. I love it. It's wicked. I don't know if a few other people do have. It's funny, I was going through all your videos today, and it's like I'm like I pretty much feel like I've seen every fucking one you've made. Even though you've got so many, because, Hippie plays so much of our music. Thanks, Hippie, again. Even though we had a little stoush this morning. I love stoushing with Hippie. It's good fun. All right, let's play this song. Shut up, Jade. Let's do it. This is Eye of Horus by Hugh Caldwell. We'll see you back here shortly. Let's do it. Boom. owned that song like a cheap Italian suit. Absolutely. That was wicked.
Thank you.
And everybody in the chat absolutely agrees. You know, you are a very popular guitarist, somebody who is clearly in demand. So let's talk about, before we jump into the artists that you've worked with here on YouTube, have you played in any bands?
I'm currently in a band.
You are away from here?
Yeah, a new band in Glasgow, yeah.
Oh, wow. Who? What? Hi?
We're a covers band. We play 3 1-hour sets. The first hour is a Small Faces set.
Mm-hmm.
Second hour is the Kinks. And the third hour, you guessed it, the Who. And we just play pubs, clubs, small theatres.
And you're still getting work doing this. That I had no idea. So you're actually still a fucking working musician now, or not?
Only on a Saturday night.
Only on a Saturday night. so you're a fucking working musician. Well, that's sick. I mean, it's a dying breed. You know, that's so much effort. The last gig I did was last year, early last year, and fuck me, I forgot how much effort it was lugging gear and getting set up and having stage crew and yeah, it's a lot of fucking work compared to YouTube.
It is, yeah. Well, that's why, I mean, I moved away from lugging my big Marshall or high watt amps to using a multi-effects pedal, basically, through the PA.
It's getting so much easier, isn't it? Like, this new Tone X pedal by IK Multimedia, I'm so desperate for it. You know, they normally send me gear, and I've been nagging, and currently that thing has become so popular for replacing people's whole setups. They reckon it's out of stock for the next 2 months. So
really?
that's a sign of where we're heading with gear. And you know, I'm sure you watch Glenn Fricker. His shows lately on tube amps, pickups. It's been very eye-opening for the guitar industry. We've been bullshitted to a long time in the guitar industry. What are your thoughts on tube amps and gear and where we're heading with all this new technology and AI?
I think there probably always still will be a place for tube amps for people who like a certain tone. But see, once you put an overdrive pedal in front of anything, trust me, you won't tell the difference.
Yeah.
You just won't tell it. It could be a solid state amp, a tube amp, or a line 6. Put some overdrive on it. No.
But these capture this capture technology is getting out of hand. Like it's really hard to pick them apart. Like, you know, mentioning Glenn Fricker again, for ages he had those huge amps behind him, cabinets behind him. He's literally moved them out of the studio because he bought this IK Multimedia Tone X pedal, and he reckons that's all he needs now. And, you know, he's going to use that in the studio to capture he basically captured those amps, put them in the pedal, and they're good to go. It's going to be weird going to gigs and seeing bands without a stack behind them, but I feel it's heading that way.
Yeah, you go into stages now, and there's no on stage. You can't hear. You're hearing through your headphones.
Yeah.
There's no stage volume. So I'll tell you a funny story.
Sure.
A couple of my early videos, I was making up a high watt lead 50 amp, huge big amp head, right? SM57 mic straight into the interface. So the next song I done, I bought this wee what's it called again? A Moore multi-effects pedal, small one. recorded the tune, and my mate went, "That sounded way better than the last two songs." I went, "That's told me a lot, you know.
Yeah.
This £200 pedal sounds better than my £4,000 head." So from that moment on, I haven't used any tube amps in my recordings.
It's fascinating, the era we live in right now with technology, that you can spend so much time on your tonality and all this kind of stuff, and then you realize that people are listening to this shit on an iPhone.
Yeah.
And people are telling you in the chats of these things. Sorry, let me just bring my camera back. People are telling you in the chats, they go, "Oh, it sounds amazing." And it's like, I'm always interested to say, what are you actually listening to this on? Because, you know, you're getting a totally different experience on a speaker on a fucking phone compared to monitors or a stereo.
Yeah.
You don't know what everybody's listening to. I mean, I'm thinking of doing a show here on the channel called Sound Advice, where we're going to get people to send in their songs and give them some advice on mixing. And at the same time, I see it all the time, people writing in the chat going, "It could do with a little bit more bass." And it's like, but what are you listening to this on? Like, it all depends.
But if it's on a phone, you're not going to hear any bass.
Exactly. So you can't tell. It's hard to take advice from people. And plus, YouTube as well is compressing the sound that everyone is hearing as well. So I saw somebody write in the chat here, Tony Howe wrote, "What do you think of the Spark Smart Amp for practice?" Have you seen those?
Excellent. Yeah, the Spark by...
I've got one.
Yeah, I think they're brilliant.
This thing is a beast. This is the first one. It's not the small one. There is a problem. They're not perfect. They're fucking loud. They're really loud. The problem is with them, they're very bassy.
Yeah, they are very bassy. That's true.
Really bassy. You have to turn down the bass as soon as you turn it on.
I mean, I use a similar thing called Yamaha THR30.
Yeah, they're cool too.
They're pretty good. And I've got the even better one is the wee green one. It's called the THR C. No, not C. X. THR10X. That is phenomenal.
The thing
I highly recommend that.
The thing that amazes me, as a young guitarist, we grew up with fucking 10-watt practice amps. And I challenge anybody out there to show me a 10-watt practice amp from back in the day that actually sounds good.
Do you remember that the amp brand, the beginner amp brand called Torque?
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
So bad.
Man, my first guitar was an Onyx. Oh, God.
Well, actually, my first amp wasn't an amp. I used to plug into the hi-fi system.
Yeah, I think we all did that. My mum had one of those huge cabinet record players. There's a big wooden box, and you lifted the lid. And I would plug into that, and it sounded like dog shit.
Buzz.
But it was the best we had, you know. But I can only imagine, like, growing up, reliving my life and having a Spark amp as my first practice amp. Ridiculous. Like, you could just plug it in, you could get a tone from your phone. That's incredible. You sound fucking incredible. We have come so far with guitar technology, you know.
Sure.
So the kids these days, I'm going to go on an old person rant here. They don't fucking understand how lucky they have it with things like the Spark amp, and they can just sound fucking incredible from their first guitar. You know, it's quite astonishing. So music. Let's talk about YouTube. And so you've got your YouTube channel. How did you start? What channel was it that you started meeting people to start collaborating? How did it all begin?
Okay. Well, I started my channel in 2007, but I didn't upload any music till 2010, and I had a few up, and then one day, I used to know Metalhead Hippie from before he started his own channel and shows, and when he started playing everybody's music, he said, "Have you got any music?" And I went back to my channel, and there was one song I had forgot to delete, and it was like a very old recording of Samba Pati with Santana, and it was still there. I thought I had deleted it, and he played it, and then kept annoying me to make another video for weeks and weeks. Eventually, I did, and then I think I done my first proper collaboration with Laurie and Mark Tanner, which was a Doors song.
I'm trying to go back. So, yeah, let's go all the way. So, yeah, 12 years ago, here's your Santana video right here. Yeah. Yeah,
and then after that, I was Sleepwalk, I think.
Yep, Sleepwalk. There's Laurie.
There was a few. Yep, that was that's my first one with Laurie, yeah.
God, isn't she amazing? Look.
She's the best.
The costumes, the love that Laurie puts into stuff. Yeah. Again, I don't know how you guys have all the time to fucking pull this shit off. It blows me away. So
we always, me and Laurie, we love to goof off on stuff on most videos. We just have a laugh, you know. She's the best.
She is hilarious. Hilarious. One of the funniest people I know. And also, it's hard to find somebody who's actually hilarious and super caring at the same time. Got a massive heart.
Sure.
You know, and I just, she's got to be, she's a workaholic. I don't know where she fits in all the time. Kid.
I know.
Like, her husband, does he get any time? I don't know. Does she sleep? That's the question. So you've done, throw off some of the collaborations with people you've done here as I scroll through this list of videos. Who are some of the people that you've worked with?
Right, okay, there's Ian, look at one there. There's me and Laurie with our wigs on doing Come On Eileen.
I'm not going to play it because I can't play covers because I'll get demonetized and all that stuff. But look at this. Look at these goofballs here.
Aye. If you scroll through, it gets really bad.
Yeah, there we are. Look at these goofballs right here. look at you. This is what it's all about, man, really.
Having a laugh.
Absolutely. It can't be all serious or you'll drive yourself into a hole. You will drive yourself into a hole. So you've done stuff with who else we got here?
Well, that's a lot of solo stuff there. As you go further up, there's a lot more collabs happening. I think
here we go.
There's one that's not seen the light of day hardly is what's his name again? I can't see the screen right.
You've got
the one on the right hand side of the white people.
You got Forrest.
The one below that.
Oh, here we go.
The one below that.
With Leroy.
Yeah. With Leroy and Fez. Yeah, that's
You've got Forrest of the Wolf.
That.
Forrest of the Wolf. You've done stuff with J.D.L.
I've done Lee Marvin on that one with the mask.
The Man in the Mask.
Where are we? That's still more covers.
More Laurie. Here we go. Look, you've got Ron Ward. Oh, God, look, more wig mayhem here with you weirdos.
Yes. I had 7 T-shirts on for this one.
I remember this one.
In character. 7 T-shirts.
Look at Laurie, for God's sake. Look at... How Laurie never made it onto Broadway is fucking beyond. Look at you.
Aye. Laurie, look at her. She's a star.
I know. How she's not on Broadway, it's baffling. Now there's two of her. Is Ron in this as well?
At the very end.
Right at the end. Of course he is, because fucking wigs, isn't it? There we go. Look at these crazy.
Laurie and I have both got a Ron t-shirt on.
You got Ron with his fucking dog. What wig? I know. Sorry, Laurie. What wig? But you've also worked with, you've done lots of stuff with the Wolfestone Studio, as we mentioned. We've got this Pinball Wizard here, the Who cover with Doc.
Yeah, that was a full band one with Gary Hubbs and Mark Wade, Doc, and a couple more there with Wolfestone, Neil Young one.
Let's Dance.
Harvest further up.
Yep, with J.D.L, Laurie, Cake Hung Drum.
Yeah.
I mean...
Flock of Cats, that's... Everybody was in that.
Yeah. This was a Starr performance, celebrity performance. So we got Marshall in here. We got Mark. There we go. Mark Tanner, Hugh Caldwell. Hang on, go back. Get them all in there.
Jack Flash, Tim Roberts.
Jack Flash. What a Starr started one. This one is, yeah. So what's the process for you?
And me.
Yeah, and of course. What's the process for you doing these covers? Like, so you get sent, what's the, I know it's different normally every time.
Depends.
Yeah.
Some I'll reach out to people myself, and if it's something I fancy doing myself, I'll ask a few people, do you fancy doing this? And then we'll get a guide track going. Somebody will start off, usually the drummer, and then everybody will add their part to that, and somebody will take on a mixing job, and then we'll see how it goes from there. And most of the time, it works out pretty good.
Yeah, look, it's
hard work, no.
It's a huge process, and I commend I'm terrible at collabs. Everybody knows that, and that's why I don't do them, because I fall behind, because this takes up so much time. It's hard to even find time for me to make music myself. But it's a lot to organize this stuff. At least the best bit is you don't have to stand in a rehearsal room for hours and hours and spend $50 on a stinky rehearsal room with spew all over the carpet and a shit PA. So that's a good thing. But because and the other thing too is not everybody has the same gear and same doors. So there's that as well. So it's a lot to work around. What do you use to record? Do you have a setup there? What door do you use? What's your setup?
I kind of use two different DAWs. I started at the very beginning using Audacity, pretty basic software, and moved on to Reaper. But I still occasionally, or actually quite a lot, like to record in Audacity and mix in Reaper and EQ in Reaper. Just get used to it. It's probably the wrong thing to do, but it works for me.
There absolutely isn't a wrong door. It's the thing I always say on this channel. You got to use the things that work for you. And, doing this show, I get heaps of questions here about what's the best door to use. There isn't one. They're all fucked. They've all got their own individual problems, like humans. We all have our little idiosyncrasies and our little quirks and stuff, and so do doors. They're not perfect. And sometimes, a lot of the time, I use multiple doors. We'll, like you said, do one thing in something and then move it across to something that does better for that particular task. So there's definitely no wrong door, no right door. What am I trying to fucking say? I just think it's amazing how you guys Midnight Bandit puts in Microsoft Paint. I still use that actually sometimes. It's all about the feeling, what you can capture with the equipment. Do you find you work better in certain times of the day or after a good meal or a sleep? Tell us your process of getting ready to record for something and putting on a good performance. Because it's hard, man. You do a performance and there are times when you're recording and you get fucking frustrated and it's just not working. Is there a particular way you prepare to record along with people's stuff?
If I'm recording at the weekend, I find I feel really fresh, and if I record in the morning, if it's during the week, obviously I have to go to work and stuff. So after dinner, no, I usually just chill out for a bit. And if I'm going to record that night, it will usually be between like 10 p.m. and midnight before I go to bed, or maybe slightly later than that. But that's usually the hours I feel ready.
It amazes me. You actually said you work as well as do. How do you guys do all this? Hold down a job and make all this music at the same time. I don't know how you do it.
It's an easy job though. I get to work on things like that.
Is that what you do for a living?
I'm a guitar tech.
Now I didn't know that. So do you work from home and people send you, like, how does it work? I'm curious now.
No, I work for a small independent mom and pop place.
Right.
I did work from home during the pandemic because one of the big box stores used to, because they were shut, people still needed a guitar setting up. So they would send them to me, and that was only near the end of the pandemic, though, obviously, because you couldn't post anything for about a year and a half.
Yeah. It's interesting. I always find that being a guitarist myself for a long time, and I think people who are guitarists here in the chat or watching on the replay will agree, I find many people who actually work with guitars, fixing guitars and understanding how guitars work, are often much better players on guitar. And I see Falcro on his shows lately. He's just going. I mean, Falcro's crazy. He just goes. He's like Leela, just feet first, straight in. I'm just going to take apart this guitar and just fix it and just go for it. You know. Do you think there's an advantage to understanding how a guitar is built and what goes into everything for being a guitarist?
I think it helps, yeah. Especially because if you know what you're doing to set up guitars, you can set them up specifically to your style of playing and your touch. Or same goes if somebody brings a guitar. So if somebody brings a guitar to me and says, set the guitar up, I don't have a specific set of rules on how to do it. I'll ask them a lot of questions on, do they play hard, do they play soft? Have they got a heavy pick attack? What strings do you normally use? That kind of stuff. So I think I've got a slight advantage when it comes to knowing my tools.
I think sometimes it's really sad because there's a lot of people out there who buy guitars for their kids, or kids buy a guitar with the dream of playing, and they buy a guitar straight off the rack and never get it set up, and because it's never been set up, it plays terrible for them, and they feel like they can't get anywhere with it. How important is it to have a guitar set up, in your opinion?
Oh, massive. If something's easier to play, you won't want to put it down, and you'll always want to pick it up as soon as you walk in. The same goes for like your main guitar. Don't keep it in a case all day unless you have to for humidity situations. Leave it out of the case on a rack or on a stand, because if you see it, you'll pick it up. If you don't see it, you won't pick it up.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I keep mine on a rack constant. I mean, if I am able to spin my camera around, you can see my rack. Where are we? Pet camera? No, that's the wrong one. Here we go. So we got to my left, or my right. There they all are.
Nice.
Well, there's what I think
Yamaha.
9 guitars over there in the corner, and there's another acoustic bass behind the green screen. And you're right.
One more guitar.
What's that?
Get one more guitar. You can sing 10 guitars.
No, I like 9 because there's like 3 of each. I've got three basses. You know, I'm shit with numbers. Everything has to like make sense. But you know, I used to stupidly keep mine in a case too, and I found that I never played it. And now that they're constantly here, I just find myself picking them up a lot more. Oh God, what was I going to ask as well too?
I've got too many guitars.
How many do you have?
Oh, I can't even give you a number. I think it's about 45. Right.
Oh no, no way! All right, you win. You win the internet today. 45 guitars. Holy shit!
To be honest, only 10 get played all the time. So I've been trying to give some away, and I've sold a few. I had more than that.
Wow.
I mean, I sold about 5 the last month. You end up just having things just gathering dust. But I'd rather see them getting played.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to ask. What's your opinion on hanging guitars on the wall? Is it good for guitars?
It's not good. It's not bad. It's and if your guitar weighs a ton, and if it's like 11 pounds in weight, don't put it on a hanger. Just because it will stress the neck at some point.
Yeah.
But I mean, as you see behind me, I've got guitars on the wall, but that's just for a space reason.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I've got 2 rooms in there
Clearly.
with like 7 guitars on a rack here and there. You know what I mean? On the long ones. So that's not decoration behind me. That's just for somebody to put them.
I get it now. I get it. Like, I could put them on the wall. I don't know. You know, when I go into a guitar shop and there's guitars on the wall, I know you're allowed to take them down. I always am like, so tender with them. And I just have this image of one day I'm going to go into a guitar shop and take it off the wall and they're all going to fall off. And I'm going to be standing there holding the guitar going, it wasn't me. I just feel like that.
I walked into a shop called Guitar in Glasgow, right? I would say the biggest store in Britain, a chain store. And it was down in the acoustic section. And there was this really expensive Martin. I think it was something like 8,000 quid. So you had to have permission to try it. So I asked the guy, and rather than him taking it down from the wall, I didn't wait, and I grabbed it myself. Ding! He heard it. I turned around and I went, sorry about that. Honestly, actually, a proper ding in it, and I'm gone. Ever since then, I've never went into a guitar shop. I've always asked somebody to give me the guitar down, you know.
Then it's on them, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a song. I'm going to play Ghost Ship because it's another song I really love. You want to tell us about this?
This is kind of my slight tribute to David Gilmour, I would say. I love his style of play. I love his economy of play, where he can try to say a lot of things in as few notes as possible, basically.
Absolutely. It's again why I love Russ's Delicate Giants.
Sure.
When I hear Gary play guitar, I know how he records it.
Amazing.
Yeah, and you know, Gary just does one take and sends it to Russ, and then Russ has got to work out how to fit it all in. He won't retake. It's amazing how he can do that. Let's play this. Folks, chill out, relax, and I saw your comment about nice rack there, Laurie, so I didn't miss that. Let's do this. We'll be back shortly, guys. Enjoy the track, The Ghost Ship. Again, man, we could have just ended the show on a loop with that. I mean, stellar playing.
Thank you very much.
The other thing, it's interesting. Growing up as more of a vocalist myself and playing in lots of bands with guitarists, there's this opinion of guitarists that they're wankers, yeah? And bass players are dickheads. Vocalists are assholes who try and steal the light. And nobody remembers the drummer because they're hidden behind the kit. You don't come across like an egotistical guitarist. You're a very humble human being. And, you don't. Some people, like myself, I'm a very loud, brash personality. And I just love the subtlety of who you are. And, there's my compliment for the day anyway. So
Very much.
I love that. Your guitar really speaks volumes. It absolutely speaks volumes of who you are. And I love that. Let's talk about health. Because health is a thing that we all struggle with. And we mentioned this at the start of the show. It's something that a lot of us share in common here, be it mental health and well-being. I try and talk about that stuff here on the channel, be it physical ailments and stuff like that. I've been open with what do you have to deal with on a daily basis to be able to front the world?
Well, in the last few years, or before I was a guitar tech, I was a roofer for 20 odd years. I had an accident where I fell through some scaffolding from like 20 stories up.
Oh shit!
I should have died. I went through all this, like down a zigzag of scaffolding right through it all, and it kind of done my back in. But not enough that I still went back to work. It was, but it had planted the seed of the back getting worse. You know what I mean? So it just progressively got worse over the next few years. So I had to give up the heavy work after that. And I still suffer from back pain, so I can't record every night because I'll get to a spot where I'm just too stiff. No pun intended, to record. And I've always had hand issues. It's not quite carpal tunnel, but it's a muscle thing and a nerve thing.
Yep.
If you notice back about 4 months ago, there's a few videos I did where I'm wearing a glove on my right hand.
Yeah.
If I couldn't get enough heat into the right hand, I couldn't play. I got that fixed now. That's touch wood, okay now. But I still get problems with my hands. And again, touch wood, for the last couple of months, everything's been great. But along with the back pain, I've had a lot of skin trouble. I've got asthma as well, so my lungs aren't in the best condition. And a few other minor ailments that still all add up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we are all the walking wounded. And the one thing that we all have in common is fucking music. And it's why I asked that question at the start of the show, what does music mean to you? And more than likely, it's the same answer every time. It's like the last question I ask on this show. It means everything. It's
Totally.
Without it, I would have disappeared off this planet so many times. For every major catastrophe in life, it's been music that's been the pick-me-up. Not like, even though you have great friends around that you can talk to, sometimes you don't want to talk about what's going on. It's bad enough that you're fucking experiencing it. It's amazing to know you've got friends everywhere to talk about it, but fuck, man, I'd rather just pick up a guitar and pour it all into that, because the guitar understands more than anything, and something beautiful always comes out of it.
I always find if I've suffered with, I wouldn't say it's like really bad depression, but bouts of it. And when I do, if I like pick up my acoustic guitar or one of them, within 5 minutes, I do feel better.
Yeah,
I just feel better.
Yep.
Music, as a lot of people have said before, music is it soothes the soul.
Yeah, it sure does. I had a mental health evaluation last week, and I got the report back I have to take to my doctor's today, and it says Starr has a problem leaving the house and dealing with other humans. They know me really well.
Sounds a bit like me for the last 25 years.
Yeah, like, yeah. So it kind of made me sound like a serial killer, actually. Like,
I don't know. I think you deal with humans better than anyone.
on here,
Yeah.
yeah, on here, not in real life, man. I'll tell you, Hugh. I went to a library for the first time yesterday.
Right.
In many, many years, and fuck me, have libraries changed? It was like an opening learning center with all this. There were people like
Computers everywhere.
it was fucking bizarre. It was like a Disneyland for books.
Yeah.
And the woman goes, "How long's it been since you've been to a library?" I don't fucking know. I just read everything on the internet. That's reading, isn't it?
I'm actually a big book reader, especially music books.
Right.
I've always read biography music books, and I'm a huge fan of late 60s music, early 70s. And I love a lot of the kind of journalistic stuff from that era, like charting concerts and what it was like at the time. I love all that.
Yeah. Let's talk about this guy. Boom.
Boom.
How like, you know, he's there every day almost lately. Well, more and more now. It's actually taking over the internet. Every time I go to YouTube, Hippie's there. What's been your experience with, like, you know, Hippie and having your music played by him, and how has it changed since you've come across his channel for you?
Oh, Jeff's brilliant. I mean, I knew Jeff before all this kind of started, and he was cool then. And what he's done, especially for me, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for Jeff. He's pushed my channel and my videos from day one, and he's just a complete inspiration when it comes to that. This guy's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, I I poke shit at Hippie all the fucking time, and hopefully he gets it. Hopefully, I know he gets it. It's all out of love, because, you know, sometimes you gotta be fun, and you know, he's got a lot of rules. He's got a lot of rules, and but, you know, do you remember all of Hippie's rules off by heart? You can't. We should have Hippie on to repeat them all for. See, I can't help myself. I'm still fucking being an asshole.
Just send them loads of emails.
Yeah. Everybody, today, after this show's finished, send Hippie 10 emails and start a conversation in each of them, right? A new conversation in each of them. Ask him how the weather is. What's he doing his shopping? Yeah, he's just put in the chat. Just one. Don't be a dick. Well, that's me fucked, isn't it? Because that's all I do over there on Hippie's channel. I'm just a dick. So, no, but he really has, you know, brought everybody together. And, you know, it feeds off, like, it's what I try and do here. I know it's what Pete tries. Everybody's channel tries to do the same thing. We all try and bring everybody together. And it's definitely working. It's interesting, you know, you look around the internet, and some of the channels I used to moderate on, like wrestling channels and stuff, everyone's just like hardcore, like fighting and calling each other fucking names. And there's moderators who are just banning people constantly. We don't see that here. Why do you think that is?
I think because everybody's got the exact same interests, which is creating music, listening to each other's music, sharing music. it's basically everybody feels it. Well, I feel it anyway, as if all my friends in the chat are on the exact same journey as I'm on. So I just feel we connect better.
Yeah. The big question I have, and are you going to release an album, or do you have plans to put out a collection of songs and actually release them and instead of just on YouTube? Is this something you're looking forward to in the future?
Yeah, I've got a ton of original stuff that's unfinished that stayed that way just because I've been too busy with collabs and all the other stuff. At some point I'll get around to it. I've actually got again, it's collab, but me and J.D.L have got a wee EP coming out soon.
Oh, what? Well, just tell us more. Can you talk about it?
I don't want to go into too much detail, but
Sure.
it's 4 songs by a well-known band we're covering just for a bit of fun.
Awesome. I love that. But I would love, and I'm sure I know people in the chat would agree, to have an EP of you, of you playing like what we've listened to today. Like I would love to hear the Hugh Caldwell album of emotional guitar, so we could kick back to that and have that on my Apple Music.
Yeah, and I want to do a lot more original acoustic stuff because I play a lot of open tuning music and dadgad and fingerstyle stuff, and I never seem to record it for YouTube. I'd like to do some of that, maybe even some classical guitar as well.
The best thing is that me bringing this up is, look at this already. Oh, of course, this slut has to put in, please let me play drums on the track. Please, look at this slut. This guy can't keep his sluttiness out of everything. Look at him. I'm telling you, watch out for this guy, Mr. Smith. He's a serial killer, I'm telling you. It's why he wears the mask. You know, there's something sinister under that mask, I'm telling you, and its body's under his drum kit.
I think he's actually Scooby-Doo.
It's old man Withers from the amusement park, huh? All right, we're going to wrap this up because Pete has pre-recorded stuff going, and I want to end with this song. Just, you know why I want to end with it. So we've played a bunch of your original stuff today. We've played you with Wolfestone. Now, there's so many songs, guys, I could have played that are covers. Obviously, I can't for, getting claims and stuff. So I implore you to go over to Hugh's channel, which is in the link below, and his Facebook page. Go and hit him up over there and have a chat with him. And if you want to, how do people reach out to you to do a collab?
Just email me. My email address is on my About page on YouTube.
Perfect. Oh, look, Russ did some work. Russ actually put a link in the chat. Holy shit. Somebody. Holy crap. Russ, are you all right? Somebody call a doctor. Russ is actually being an admin. No, absolutely. So reach out to Hugh. I think that's how I got you through your About thing. I think so.
Yeah.
And and you can collab. I'm sure you take anybody on board. All takers.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming on here and sharing a bit of your life with us, and who you are, because I love this stuff. I love finding out more about people. It's interesting because you think you know somebody by their music and the little snippets, but there's always these little surprises that you find out, and you are definitely one of the more really talented people on here, and someone I've wanted to get to know. But and for those of you who didn't understand a word Hugh said today, you can go back and watch the replay and just turn on the.
That's that.
Turn on the what's it called? The translation.
Turn on the non-Scot guy.
Do that, and you'll be fine. I'll hit you with the last question that I hit everybody with. It's a real hard one. If you're going to give advice to someone who's starting out making music, when do you think is the best time for them to start?
When you're ready.
That's a good one. That's
You're
true.
not ready, it won't work.
It's true. Like I know it's like a forced question to get people to say now, but at the same time, if you're not ready, it's not going to work. Like it's like what we talked about earlier. When do you feel right to actually record? If your back's fucking up, the last thing you want to do is sit in a chair and play guitar. So that's the
give it a lot of thought. Basically, I would say.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go out with this song today because you're on it. This is Dark Age by Apocalypse. So there's a few reasons. There's a few reasons I want to play this because, I mean, it's you, it's Dom, and it's Chris Lane holding a fucking sword. So, how did you get involved with this this project?
I think I'd worked before with Dom and Chris. And they basically just asked me, would you like to be involved? Come up with some guitar, some lead guitar. And I thought, yes. And the process of going through that with them was absolute joy and funny as fuck. The two of them are brilliant, like an old married couple.
Yeah, I know they are, aren't they? I'm actually... yeah, go for it. Go for it, mate. I interrupted.
I'll just say I loved working with both of them, and I've subsequently worked with both of them after that as well. So Chris Lane keeps asking me to do really hard guitar solos, which is quite funny.
Well,
but I love it. It's brilliant.
Well, I'm doing as usual now, I'm doing a community covers show for my opening hour this week. And this week I've made it a secret, so you don't know, but I'm going to let you in on secret. I'm going to do a Chris Lane song.
Hey.
I can't wait. I've got the fan ready, even though my dreadlocks probably won't move, but that's all right. All right. Thank you so much, Hugh, for coming on. Thank you for your time. Hang on the call.
You.
Hang on the call. I'll have a chat with you after the show ends. Folks, I'll automatically dump you over to Pete's pre-recorded show after this, his podcast. He's away on holidays. He's somewhere, I don't know, a secret location. So if you want to go over there. Thank you all for being here in the chat. I love you all. And Hippie says, yesterday was my 3rd year of sharing music and Hugh was there from the start. Congrats to Hippie, you know, and he shared all our music. He even shares my monstrosities. So he's doing well. And thank you all for saying it's a great interview. Hey, we got a great person here to interview. So thank you very much. Let's do this. Let's play this last song. This is Dark Age by Apocalypse and Chris Lane with a motherfucking sword. Do the things that make you happy, folks. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together. Let's get out of here. Goodbye. Thanks for being here, everybody. Love you lots. You guys rock. Stay tuned this week coming up. Hopefully, we got a really, really big interview next week. Somebody who has over 1 million subscribers. Fingers crossed it all happens. Thanks for being here. Love you guys.
And we'll all rise together.